Hi everyone. Good evening. Namaste. This is Ekta. Good evening everyone. I just want to check if I am audible and visible. So I'll wait for another 30 seconds. I just want to understand if I'm audible and visible. Okay, great. So good evening everyone. Welcome to another session by Team Mental Strength Professional. I'm Ekta, Director of Dr. Paras Wellness and Mental Strength Professional. So to begin with, I would like to say something about us. Who are we and what do we do? So we are a team of coaches. We are a team of Reiki healers, hypnotherapists, NLP practitioners, mindfulness practitioners, counselors, and we aim at building mental toughness in people. So since July, one of our professionals, we go live each week and we share some insights about different topics. So I really want to thank you all for reaching us, and we really, really appreciate your inputs. Last week, we had one interesting session where one of our professionals, she spoke about how to be resilient in tough times. And she also spoke about, she shared many tips and many ways to increase, our coping mechanism. We've received a wonderful feedback. Thank you so much for that. And let's move on to our today's discussion. And this time I have Coach Shalaka Tambe with me. Let me see if I can get Coach Shalaka in the room. Just give me one moment. Hi, Janvi ji. Namaste. Good evening. And here we go. Hi, Shalaka. Good evening.
Hi,
Namaste.
good evening, good evening, namaste.
So I am so happy to see your positivity because you come up with amazing series which is full of life. So I'm very excited to hear you today.
Wow, very excited to talk about this topic as well.
Yes, absolutely. So, moving on to our today's session, Shalaka from her joint series of emotional harmony for joyful pregnancy, she is here with another promising topic, a very beautiful topic that is mindfulness during pregnancy. Just connecting the dots, having met a couple of my friends, my clients who are mothers now, and hearing their experience about the hormonal changes, how it takes a toll, not only at the physical level, but also their emotional as well as mental health. It's very, very difficult, to be composed during those days. So, Shalaka, a very thought-provoking topic, very much need of the hour, I would say. And, I want to congratulate you. Your knowledge share series has received a generous feedback from our listeners. So kudos to you. It has been helping them raise their empathy towards, would-be mothers. And the feedback has also, is involved like we have been able to accustom to practices, that is needed for emotional well-being during motherhood. So, fantastic job, Shalaka, and I really, really, I'm happy that you came up with this series. So we have Janvi ji saying good evening. We also have Arun saying good evening. So Arun, Janvi ji, namaste. Good evening to you.
Hi,
Uh,
Arun. Hello, Janviji. Good evening.
so Shalaka, I am now going to hand over this particular, stage to you. Let's hear from you. How can expecting mothers they
Mm.
experience mindfulness during pregnancy? So over to you, Shalaka.
Yes. Uh, Thanks, Ekta, for initiating the session. And I'm really glad what you shared that we have got a excellent response. And what is heartening to hear is people are, or especially the would-be mothers, could relate and could, really use some of the tips, in their whole journey. That's the purpose. I mean, to help them to create much more awareness about this whole emotional and mental well-being space and have a structured conversation around this topic. So that's really the core purpose of this series. And just to quickly share, I'm Shalaka Tambe and I'm a mental strength professional with Matrix. And today is our third session in the series called Emotional Harmony for Joyful Pregnancy. Today's topic is about how to integrate mindfulness in your pregnancy journey. So I'm going to talk about how you can benefit from the many aspects of being mindful during this whole journey, this whole process. How can you, benefit from it? So this is all that I'm going to talk about. But before that, I'll quickly highlight some of the important points that we discussed during our earlier session. During our earlier sessions, I had shared with you how you can build your emotional and mental well-being through a structured approach and how you can work on four fundamental elements for your well-being, overall well-being. And those four elements were emotional awareness, emotional knowledge, your mental strength, and then the last element was mindfulness during pregnancy. And that's what we are going to address today. So, as I have been saying throughout this series, that when we talk about emotional and mental well-being, uh, it many a times happens that we talk about all these things when we are going through some challenges, when we are facing some issues, we are in a tough spot. Then we tend to think of all these aspects. However, this can also sometimes become a roadblock in exploring and integrating the many benefits of the emotional and mental well-being into our lives. How can we proactively work on that? So one of the aspects of this series is also to help you, explore and proactively integrate all the benefits of working on your well-being into your life. So, and one of the most crucial aspects, I would say, is integrating mindfulness during your journey. It's absolutely important to integrate mindfulness in your life as a routine, as a way, but especially during the pregnancy period. It can be very beneficial if you learn some mindfulness techniques, if you learn how to integrate all these aspects. So this is what we are going to talk about. But before that, let me just quickly touch upon what mindfulness is. To define mindfulness, mindfulness is paying attention in the present moment, being fully present in the now, and paying attention to yourself, your thoughts, your feelings in a non judgmental way. So that is mindfulness, being present in the here and now. Now, so if you see, it is all about paying attention to your body, paying attention to your thoughts, paying attention to your feelings, and channelizing everything in the present moment. So it is all about the present. And most importantly, for the expecting mothers, what can mindfulness do is it is bring your attention in the present moment so that you can take care of the present moment and at the same time take care of yourself in the present moment. So that is the beauty of integrating mindfulness, that you can really reap the benefits of it by seeing how you can take care of yourself today in the present moment. Now, this is the precise reason, as I said, why we need to integrate mindfulness in pregnancy. Because you see, the life that is growing inside the womb is happening right now. The growth, the nurturing that is happening right now. It was not in the past. It's not going to be in the future. It is happening every day on a daily basis. This growth, this process of life, is expanding. It is getting created. So all the more important to be present. And if all the would-be mothers can increase their awareness about the present moment, they would be in a much more stable state, both emotionally, mentally, and physically, and then really experience a truly peaceful and joyful pregnancy. That's why many times I call a mindful pregnancy is a joyful pregnancy, because mindfulness leads you to a much more calmer space, gives you a much more stable environment within yourself, and then this allows you to experience everything in much more joyful way. So mindful pregnancy is joyful pregnancy. That's how I look at it. Now, the journey of pregnancy, as you all know, brings with it a flood of thoughts, a flood of feelings, a flood of emotions. And these sometimes become overwhelming. And they are driven mostly by the worries or the thoughts that are around, everything that's going to happen in the future. So it is important to then bring back your attention in the present and be there fully present. So this is why this is the crux of integrating mindfulness in your pregnancy. So thus you can see that when you practice mindfulness, it actually helps you build your mental strength. It actually helps you in building your emotional composure and gives you a very stable environment within yourself. So moving ahead, I'm also going to share with you how precisely can this mindfulness and integrating mindfulness techniques during this process can help you. What are the benefits of it? Now, first of all, when you integrate mindfulness, it helps you in channelizing all your thoughts in the present moment. The second is it helps you to conserve all the vital energies. It's very important, and we will talk about it in detail as we go ahead in this session. And the last one is effectively cope with fears, worries, and anxieties. Now, these are the three areas where mindfulness can tremendously benefit you. And I'm going to talk about each of this in detail now. Uh, as I said, when you integrate these aspects and you work upon channelizing your energy in the present, conserving your energies in the present, and effectively coping with your fears, worries, and anxieties, it automatically builds a wonderful composure for you. It automatically gives you the right mental construct to sail through this journey. Now, so when I say channelizing your thoughts in the present moment, so why is it necessary? Now, if you have ever noticed carefully, our thoughts are never singular in nature. We never just have one thought and then it shuts off. So our thoughts are never singular in nature. They're always in a form of thought chain, a chain of thoughts, as we say, or a thought stream, just like a stream of water. It's constantly flowing. It's constantly flowing. There are things going on at the background of your mind. So thoughts are never singular in nature. It's always a thought stream. And sometimes they are random, sometimes they are connected, but they are always in a chain form. And thus our mind is so much habituated to thinking, planning, worrying, anticipating, then constantly having a dialogue about either the past or the future. So we are constantly in that mode. So if you see the thinking mode, it actually dominates each and every day of our life, the experience of our life, how we experience each day. So the thinking and the thoughts that we have actually dominates the process of our life itself. Now, mindfulness first, makes you aware of these thought streams. It first makes you aware about what is going on inside your head. Which are the thought chains you are getting stuck into? What are your patterns? What are you really, not doing consciously? So all these unconscious thoughts and thought streams that are going in your mind, it first makes you aware about them. So once you are aware of it, it helps you to break that chain of thoughts. So the first step towards coming into the present is we need to break that chain. We need to cut ourselves and detach ourselves from that constant thinking, that thinking which goes on sometimes out of our control. And we many a times we don't even realize that's happening. So the first thing that mindfulness does is it cuts you from that thought chain and just makes you a bit still. makes you, a bit detached from that process. So once that happens, you are much more better placed to bring your attention into the now. Now, believe me, there is nothing wrong in thinking. In fact, thinking is one of the greatest gifts that we have as humans. So it is not the thinking that is the problem, but it is the unrestrained and frenzied thinking is where the problem lies. So mindfulness actually teaches you to think on purpose, to think on purpose about things which are functional for you, you know things and the thoughts which you can use for yourself, and not the other way around. Your thought doesn't dominate how you are leading your day, but you are leading your thoughts the way you want to manage and the way you want to lead your day. So it is exactly the other way around, and how that should it's exactly how it should be actually. So this is what mindfulness gives you the what you can say, it gives you the power back to yourself. So, and all the more important during the 9 months of pregnancy, because as I said, it is the life is happening right now, and the more we are present in today's moment, the more we are aware of what is happening within us, the more beneficial is to the would be mother as well as the baby. And that is why you need to integrate this. To give you an example, a simple focus meditation, can help you in developing a habit of bringing your attention in the present moment. There are various other meditation techniques which you can also use, but a simple focus meditation, if you can start with that, it's an excellent way to train your mind to think on purpose. So maybe I'll take a pause here, and Ikta, if you can come in and share if we have any comments which we need to address.
Sure, I'm very much here. You're going great, Shalaka. Just give me one moment because I have a question on my messenger.
Okay.
Just give me one moment, please. Something that stays with me, Shalaka, what you shared. I love the point because mindfulness, it helps us to, it leads to being functional in our thought process.
Mm, true.
And what you mentioned about focus meditation,
Mm,
I've experienced that. So that's a beautiful technique. So thanks for sharing. And I just it's a beautiful way to really be in the present and be in the now. So thank you. So here I have a question from Miss Anonymous. I would call her Anonymous because she's mentioned not to take her name.
okay.
So she has mentioned about, can I be mindful if I'm not able to sit and meditate? And that is a wonderful question. And she also further adds, I sometimes find it difficult to sit in a place and meditate.
Oh,
Do you
so
want me to repeat the question
yeah,
or?
yeah, yeah. The question, if you can repeat, it's in two parts. Yeah.
Sure. So she's mentioned, can I be mindful if
Mm,
I'm not able to sit and meditate?
mm,
And I sometimes find it difficult to
mm.
sit in a place and meditate.
Wow, that's a very important question.
It is, yes.
Yeah, yeah, because and I get this question a lot of times, because there are a lot of people who share that it's really not helping them when they try and sit to meditate, close their eyes. It's not working for them. So they feel it's really not for me. So if that's they feel that's their biggest hurdle. But
Hmm.
yeah, and that's where we need to address this important point, that it is okay if you do not relate with this type of meditation, sitting at one place, closing your eyes, focusing on something, meditating. It is absolutely okay if it's not your cup of tea, but that's not the only way to meditate. That's not the only way to uh, benefit from what you can get through that process. If you see, the aim of meditation is to bring your attention in the present moment, keep you in the present moment. The first aim, you can say, or why do we meditate? Because we want to be with ourselves in the present moment. Now this is just one way, that you sit at a place and you meditate, but there are various other ways that you can integrate in your practice. A simple way I can share with you is just integrate a routine of going for a walk in the fresh air, just by your on your own. You know, feel that fresh air, and here the important thing is train your mind to be in the present moment with yourself while you're taking that walk.
Mm.
And consciously make the choice that I'm going to, while taking this walk, I'm going to be just with me. I'm going to be just with my thoughts in the present. When you constantly feed that message to your mind, it automatically, over the period of time, helps you to experience the present moment. You can also go with a friend or anything, but I will always emphasize that be conscious about what you are thinking during that period. Consciously feeding the thought to yourself that this is my way of meditating, this is my way of being in the present moment. So you can integrate any type of meditation into your life, as per your likes, dislikes, your patterns, uh, what makes you much more calmer. So it's, there is no one way of meditating. You can integrate different practices into your life. So but I'll still emphasize the word consciously, because then you will have to, train your mind to be in that moment, just through that walk. So I hope I could answer your question.
I'm sure Miss Anonymous is listening to us right now. Just to say it in one line, what stays is make a conscious choice, because everyone's
Yes,
need is different, everyone's way is different. So what suits you, go ahead with that and make a conscious choice in the moment. So wonderful,
absolutely.
Shilaka. Anonymous, if you have any further queries or questions, you can connect back on the messenger. So Shilaka, over to you. Let's continue with our session. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Yes. So, as I said, first it was channelizing your thoughts in the present moment. So, that was the first benefit that you can really experience when you integrate mindfulness. The second is conserving all your vital energies. What do I mean by that? Uh, and just to give you a highlight, I'm saying how can you make a transition, or how can you integrate the being mode of life into your doing mode of life. So that is where conserved energies really comes from. So what do I really mean by that? During the last session, I had shared with you that a human body is composed of three elements. One is the physical, then the second is psychological, and the spiritual. And we had discussed how all these aspects are at a level nothing but energies that are flowing through our body. Now, especially the psychological energy which flows in the form of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, it is very important to conserve that energy too. I mean, physically, the would-be mothers can rest, take ample rest, during their pregnancy, during their days. They can, conserve their physical energy by taking ample rest. So that will take care of their physical energy part. But our psychological energies, which flow through our thoughts, which flow through our feelings and our emotions, it is equally important to conserve those energies as well, because many a times it is not the physical activity that drains us the most, but it is our thoughts and our emotions which can really drain us a lot. Now, if you see, what do I mean by the doing mode then? Doing mode and being mode. What difference am I talking about here? If you throughout our day we are engaged in external duties, doing all our activities, uh, planning for things, organizing things, making sure everything is in place, uh, taking care of our responsibilities at domestic level, at professional level. So we are constantly doing something. We are constantly in that doing mode, and then we are constantly also thinking at the back of our mind. And the more we what do you say, uh, get engaged in only the doing mode, the more we get drained. So at the end of the day, we get so exhausted that we just go off to sleep, and then the next day again we get up, the same routine starts, and then it's almost like we are running on.
I guess we are experiencing some network issues here at Shilaka's end. Just let's wait for a second, please. Please be patient. I'm sure she'll be back soon. It's just a network.
Can you see me?
Yes, Shilaka, because we lost you in between. I guess it was a network.
Yeah, it was. I think the network just dropped. I just quickly
Okay, so
joined.
let's continue, Shilaka.
Yeah. So I was talking about the doing more and the being more, and why during the pregnancy it is important to activate our being more mode a lot, and because that is the need of the time. The life that is getting nurtured inside your womb needs you to be there just as a human being who is experiencing all the things that are happening within you, because everything that you're thinking, you're feeling, you're doing is getting transmitted in the energy form to the fetus, to the womb, and to the baby. So it really needs our conscious presence in the moment, and that is what the being mode is. You are being there as your whole human being, you are being there fully present, and taking care of everything that is happening inside of you, within you. And that is why the being mode getting integrated with your doing mode is very critical. Now, as I was saying, that there are various meditation and mindfulness techniques which you can use to achieve this. There are different techniques, meditation techniques, which teach you how to be aware of all your five senses. There are different techniques which make you more aware about what you're feeling right now, how you are experiencing your emotions right now. So there are various techniques which can help you in this process and make sure that you are conserving your energy for the right time, because believe me, you are going to need all your energies in your journey ahead, all your trimesters, and beyond that. So conserving your energy, vital energies, especially the psychological ones, becomes very critical when it comes to building your own emotional well-being and getting prepared for the journey ahead. So Ekta, do we need to take a pause and see if we have any comments?
Sure, Shilaka, just give me a moment. Okay, so we have another question on our MSP Messenger. Okay, it's from Jyoti.
Okay.
Okay, so Jyoti says, I am into my second trimester.
Okay.
What can I do to keep up with my energy levels, to keep good energy levels? Do you want me to repeat?
Yeah, sure.
So Jyoti is into second trimester, and her question is, what can I do to keep good energy levels?
Hmm.
If
Uh,
you notice, Tilaka, sorry to cut you. If you notice, in your session, we get a lot of questions in Messenger. This is
yeah,
strange.
yeah, that's even I have noticed that. So, what could be the reason behind it? We would see.
Yeah, we need to openly, coming up with such issues and openly talking about it is really a fantastic initiative. So over to you, Tilaka. I just got carried away. Sorry.
I know, absolutely. So thanks, Jyoti, for that question. And first of all, let me tell you, second trimester is the best, part of the pregnancy. As I've shared earlier, also, it is the most calm, quiet period where you can really work on yourself. So it's the best thing to start all these things actually. And to give you an analogy, why is the second trimester is very important? Consider this as your hibernation period. Uh, exactly like the mother bear goes into hibernation before giving birth to her cubs. That hibernation is actually so that she can conserve all her energies. That's how she takes care of herself. The nature has taught her beautifully. No one has to tell her that. The moment she is into that pregnancy, she hibernates herself and makes sure that she has enough energy, and so that she can take care of the cubs later on, train them, everything. So this is your hibernation period, and very much deserving too, because you need everything to do everything, all the energies that you can conserve for yourself for your further journey. But most importantly, what you need to do is you need to keep reminding yourself, because we are talking about how to nurture your mind through mindfulness. The thing that you need to do constantly is feed your mind with the thought that this is my hibernation period. Once you constantly indulge in that kind of a self talk, it will automatically result in you making the right choices for yourself on a daily basis. Because once you keep reminding yourself that this is my period where I need to conserve, this is my hibernation period which I need for me and my baby, the more you have that kind of a dialogue in your head, the better placed you are to make right choices for yourself throughout the day. I'm not even saying throughout the week, throughout the trimester, but throughout the day, each day you will end up making better choices for yourself. So if you can do that, start with that, have that internal dialogue. You are well on your way, to experience good energy levels, as you were saying. So that would be the first step, I would say. I hope I answer your question. And if you still need any more details on it, you can always connect back to us.
Sure, Shilaka. I'm sure, Jyoti, this helps. And Jyoti, like Shilaka mentioned, if you have any further queries, you can definitely get in touch with us. Our email address is info@mentalstrengthprofessional. And at the same time, if you want to have a session with Coach Shilaka, you can reach us on our mobile number, that is 8260-112233. I repeat, 8260-112233. It's very much mentioned on the screen. So Shilaka, thank you so much. I'm sure Jyoti would be very, very happy. There is one more question, but I'm not going to ask you right now. Probably we can continue with the session, and then after once with the flow, I can definitely ask you, because this question has been pending from from your last session.
Okay, then we surely need to address it. We will, yeah.
So over to you, Shilaka. I'm
Yeah,
just
sure.
going to go off screen.
Yeah, sure. So I shared with you the first two benefits, how you can channelize your thoughts into the present moment, how you can, by integrating mindfulness, how you can conserve your energies for your further journey, and why it is important to conserve all your vital energies. So, and the last part which I'm going to share is about how you can effectively cope with fears, worries, and anxieties by practicing mindfulness, by becoming more mindful about your thoughts and feelings. How can you effectively cope with fears, worries, and anxieties? Now, once you learn to channelize your thoughts in the present, you take the first step towards building your mental strength and towards integrating mindfulness in your journey. Now, if you see, the source of all worry, the source of all anxiety, either lies in the past or in the future, but more so, your anxious thoughts, the source of all those anxious thoughts, many a times lies in the future events. And many a times we end up thinking about it, we get overwhelmed, and this is how we drain ourselves out. And we constantly keep imagining and thinking about different possibilities, different scenarios that might happen in the future, and more so in the pregnancy, because we are completely charting an unknown territory. These thoughts and these worries do come back to us regularly. And as I said, it is this source, the future, that is the source of all our anxieties, the unknown future. And precisely why we need to be then more mindful and bring us back into the present and remind ourselves that these thoughts and these worries are only about the events which might happen in the future. Those events have not happened yet. They might even never happen, whatever we are worried about, whatever we are anxious about. So it is all in our imagined future. So it is not exactly what is happening right now. I'm imagining all this that might happen in the future. So when you start having that dialogue, these are the thoughts about something that might happen. It automatically takes the power of overwhelming power of that thought away from it. And then you slowly bring yourself back into the present. And thus you are much more wonderfully placed to deal with that anxiety and that worry. Because worries are going to be there, thoughts will be there. Uh, the aim of mindfulness or meditation is not to get rid of thoughts, but how to manage them properly, how to deal with them, how to cope with them, with functional internal dialogues, the thoughts that we have, the talk we have with ourselves. So by doing so, we are actually enabling us to cope with our fears and worries in much more better way. Now, by practicing mindfulness, you learn to cut yourself from that thought stream. That's what first happens. You cut yourself, you then bring yourself to a calmer space, and then you remind yourself that this is what might happen in the future. It's not happening right away, right now to me, and I need to be more present now because there is something much more important happening inside of me right now. So the more you have this dialogue, it will help you deal with your anxieties in a much, much better way. Immediately it will calm you down. Immediately it will get you into a calmer space. And this is how you cope. Ultimately, what is coping? Coping is working around, I would say, finding workarounds which will put you in a place of much more peace and calmness. So, how are you going to deal with your thoughts? How are you going to manage your thoughts? This is what mindfulness will teach you. Now, what we generally do for coping, I want to address that a bit. Uh, when we say coping, and when we are lost in our thoughts, when we get anxious, when we are a bit worried and fearful, we resort to our coping strategies like comfort food. Yeah, we really then go to that. We just either binge on our favorite serials, we get lost in our social media, or we are just lost in our thoughts. And all these things are definitely ways to cope with your anxiety, but they are surely not functional and good ways to cope with them. Because what would happen ultimately, that for example, if you don't eat consciously and if you resort to comfort eating, comfort food during this period, it could affect your eating habits, it could affect your overall health, it could affect your sleeping pattern as well. If you for example, this happens when you just get lost in your thoughts, when you get lost your coping strategies to just immerse in social media, if your coping strategies to just binge watch on something, it will have an impact later on. You will see the difference in your sleep patterns, your in your eating habits, your health can get affected. So these are coping mechanisms which are not functional and not good for you. So what mindfulness does is it gives you better and functional ways to cope with these anxieties. I mean, instead of resorting to the ways which could be harmful for you, it will give you different tools and techniques to cope with it in a functional way. So that is very important. And there are different, there are different techniques which can really help you in integrating this aspect, how to cope with your anxieties functionally. But right now we cannot go into much detail of that because of the lack of time. But this is what integrating mindfulness can really, enable you with, giving you the right and functional coping mechanisms to deal with your worries, anxieties, your stresses. So instead of getting exhausted by your thoughts and worries, you can actually cut yourself from that and be much more calm and peaceful. And that is how you can effectively cope with your anxieties. Uh, so, Ekta, would you like to come in?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So, Shalaka, we would be addressing a question from Swati. Just to let the audience know, this question was asked by Swati in our last session. During our last session, of, which Shalaka had, she mentioned about how to build an emotional nest during pregnancy. That was her session in which Swati had asked a question. However, Shalaka, she reached us on a number and we did have a conversation about it. But this particular question is related to even today's topic. So I'm sure, this question would be very, very helpful for all the audiences who are watching us today. So the question is how to avoid overthinking, especially in today's situation. So this is not just about pregnancy, in fact, it is for anyone and everyone.
Absolutely.
So how to avoid this overthinking? Over to you, Shalaka.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. As you said, not just for pregnant women, this is a question a lot of us are facing. I mean, yeah, absolutely. And more so in pregnancy, I can understand where she's coming from. So I can really relate to what you're saying, Swati, and thanks for that question. And yes, it's an important question, and especially in today's challenging circumstances. It is obvious to have a lot of thoughts. As I mentioned earlier, having thoughts is not the problem. And especially today, having overwhelming thoughts and having anxious thoughts about the external environment they are triggering a lot of anxiousness in us. So it is obvious to get sometimes get overwhelmed by it. And uh, what mindfulness can do is, if you really be mindful and use simple mindfulness techniques, it can, as I said, it can break your chain of thoughts. So the first step towards avoiding overthinking, thinking will happen, but overthinking, by being mindful, you can cut that chain of thought and just take a pause and just come back a little and just try and be in the present moment. Now what you need at this point is, we all need distractions, because if you want to get your mind off something, you can distract yourself, but the important thing is mindful distraction is what we need. We need a distraction which will bring us to the present moment in a mindful and functional way. That's exactly what I was sharing in the earlier element also. So it will help you to get out of the loop of your thoughts. So overthinking is nothing but you getting stuck into a loop of thoughts, a pattern that you constantly fall into. So it is very useful to practice mindful distraction, which can be the first step towards avoiding overthinking and bringing your attention back in the present. uh, that could certainly help you. Now, if you wish to explore more about how you can achieve this, you can definitely get in touch with us.
Thanks for that, Shalaka. So, I'm what I got the crux of it. What I understand is mindfulness is a tool to disengage a self with worked up thoughts, or maybe overwhelming thoughts.
Absolutely. Overwhelming thoughts and thoughts about things that have not happened yet. So once you make a habit of telling yourself that anxious thoughts and worries are nothing but thoughts about the events that have not happened yet, that itself becomes very powerful and gives you the power back not to get impacted by those thoughts. So this is one way. Feeding your mind constantly with this thought will help you deal with overthinking.
Bang on, Shalaka. Thank you so much. Swati, I'm really happy that you shared this space with us. Because of that, we got to know some more wonderful thoughts from Shalaka. So, Shalaka, we are on towards the closure of our session. I still would want, some of us have joined in now. So,
Okay.
maybe a quick summary of what we discussed. It can help many of us to, just get a hang of what has been discussed.
Absolutely.
So over to you. Let's hear from some summary from you.
Yeah. So, if I want to sum up what we addressed today, today I have shared with you the importance of integrating mindfulness in your pregnancy journey throughout those 9 months, and how by practicing mindfulness and mindfulness techniques can benefit you in many ways. What are really the areas where you can work on so that mindfulness becomes a tool to build your emotional composure and your mental strength. So I addressed all that space today. um, and the three important areas I talked about were how you can channelize your thoughts in the present moment, in the now, because as I said, our thoughts are never singular in nature. They are always in a form of a stream of a thought chain, and most of the times it is triggered either by the past or uh, burden of the past or the anxiety of the future. And that's why it becomes much more critical during pregnancy to channelize your energy, your thoughts, and your feelings into the now, and how different techniques can help you achieve that. So that was about channelizing your thoughts in the present moment. The second I said was conserve your vital energies. Now this, according to me, was is very important. How you can integrate your being mode into your doing mode. I shared with you it is extremely important to share our to conserve our psychological energies. We can conserve the physical energy by taking ample rest, but how are we going to rest our thoughts, our feelings, and minds? How are we going to take care of that? How are we going to rest psychologically? And why is it important? How we can, how the would-be mothers can think of it as a hibernation period for themselves, where they go into a hibernation mode, conserve their energies, which will help them deal with all the coming months and days with much more clarity and stability. So then I also talked about how mindfulness techniques can help you effectively cope with your anxieties, fears, and worries. Because as I just shared with you a couple of minutes ago, it's not the thoughts that are the problem. It is the unrestrained and frenzied thinking about the future that can impact you. And so if you constantly remind and you constantly develop a dialogue with yourself that everything that I'm thinking in terms of worries is about the future that has not happened yet, and right now the utmost need is for me to be in the present. So just feeding yourself with the thought that worry is nothing but a thought about future that has not happened yet. Immediately you take the power of that thought away and you get back to a much more calmer space. Uh, so these were all the things that I shared, and I really wish for everyone who is watching that they can, gain some insights and they can work on themselves and proactively integrate all these positive aspects into their journey, into their life. That's precisely the purpose of this whole series: positive, proactive approach towards building your mental strength and emotional well-being. So I think that's it from me, Ekta, for today. Over to you.
That was a wonderful summary, Shalaka. Thank you so much. What I can understand is you shared a wonderful mantra, that is follow three C's of mindfulness during pregnancy. That is conserve,
Yeah,
the other one was, I believe, channelize, and a third one was cope.
go.
So
Exactly.
wonderful, and I'm sure this is going to help all the expecting mothers during their journey of pregnancy and beautiful journey of motherhood. So I repeat, it is three C's. One is conserve.
And
Sorry, first one is channelize, then it is conserve, and the third one is
go.
coping up.
Yeah.
Super, super. Thank you. So, Shalaka, a mindful topic that addresses a very, very important space in the journey of motherhood. So, everyone, if you want to schedule, anyone and everyone who wants to schedule a session with Coach Shalaka, you can definitely reach us. You can reach us on our number, that is +91 is the country code, and the number is 8260 11 2233. You can also alternatively log on to our website, which is www.mentalstrengthprofessional.com. It is very much available on the screen mentioned there. You can log on and you can definitely book an appointment with Shalaka or any other coaches. Just a quick one. There was a question asked that if the sessions that we have, are they only in English? So let me tell you, if you want to speak to any of our coaches in Marathi or in Hindi, we are absolutely comfortable with that. So it always depends on the comfort zone of our clients. So please, we are not restrictive to only one language, that is English. We also have our sessions where our clients open up in the language that they are very comfortable. So please feel free and get in touch with us. If you have also any queries, you want to reach us, you can write it to us on info@mentalstrengthprofessional.com. I repeat, info@mentalstrengthprofessional.com. The email address is very much on the screen. And write us your queries and we'll definitely reply, I'm sure.
And I think we are also sharing a blog coming Friday on the same topic. And also we'll be sharing a video on tips on how you can integrate mindfulness in your daily routine. So I think we are coming up with that resources also, Ekta, right?
Absolutely. We are sharing the blog tomorrow and the video is scheduled to be released on Friday. Thanks for adding that, Shalaka. So that's all from my end and that's all from us. We are on the top of the hour. We are going to close. So just a quick one, Anima. I mean, people, if you really, really want to, stay connected for more knowledge series and updates from our team, you can follow us on our Facebook page and Insta handle, that is Mental Strength Professional. And at the same time, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dr. Paras. So thank you everyone for being there with us. Thank you so much for your patience. And Shalaka, thank you so much for coming up with a wonderful topic. Each month you shared some beautiful knowledge, insights about how can one experience, beautiful pregnancy, a joyful pregnancy, and experience wonderful motherhood. Thank you so much, Shalaka.
Thank you everyone for joining. Namaste.
Thanks everyone. Namaste. Bye-bye. Take care. Good night.